And we're thrilled to be joined now by longtime Predators reporter and the host of Southern Fried Hockey Talk, Mr. John Glennon in studio tonight. John, you have covered the Predators since day number one, so you've seen the evolution. I caught it funny in these first two games. The Predators win, yet some people are disappointed up 2-0 in a series because they think they need to play better.
It's kind of a sign of the times, I think, the raised expectations we see of the Nashville Predators. You know, a year ago at this time, of course, we didn't think the Predators were necessarily going to be around after the first round. Here we are a year later. They're an overwhelming favorite, and yes, the games have been a little tighter than some fans have liked, but, you know, I think the Predators still have to feel pretty good about themselves.
You know the Avalanche are going to get a boost playing in front of their fans, and they've actually been pretty good at home, except when they play the Predators, right? They
have 28, 11, and 2 at home for the Avs this year. They've been one of the best teams in the NHL at home. It has not worked so well against the Predators. They've lost 6 straight. This year's games were pretty close, though. One of the games, 4-3 for the Predators. Ryan Ellis ties that game in the last minute, sends it overtime, and the Predators win. The other game, the Preds win 4-2, but we're trailing in that game 2-1. So they weren't easy games.
The Predators have won 12 straight overall against the Avalanche. And one of the big keys to me, John, is everybody talks about the top lines, but it's been the third line of the Predators defensively and even offensively in this series, which has matched up and even exceeded the production of the Avs top line.
They really have. Things didn't really go so well for the Predators when they used the first line against Colorado's first line in that first game. But since we have seen Austin Watson, Nick Bonino, Colton Sissons going head-to-head with Colorado's top line, things have gone much better. Not only have they kind of broken even, but that threesome for the Predators has actually outscored Colorado's top three, 7 points to 6 points in those first two games. And if you're the Colorado Avalanche and that first line isn't dominating, you're not going to win.
Not always just about scoring, of course. Special teams has played a big role so far in this series. Preds penalty kill has held Colorado to just 1 for 8 on the power play, but you're kind of playing with fire there, aren't you? If you're the Preds, you got to stay out of the box because we all know the Avs have some snipers.
You really do. They had one of the best power plays in the league. The Predators have been good, as you said, just 1 goal so far in the first 2 games, and that was a 5-on-3 situation. And the Preds power play, on the other hand, has had 2 goals, so that's been a big help. But it's been a season-long struggle for the Predators. Got to stay out of the penalty box. You've got guys like McKinnon, Rantanen, and Landeskog. They're eventually going to score some points on you if you continue to go in the box.
Now Colorado gets last change. How does that change things in your mind?
That is a key question, I think, because as we talked about, the Predators in the first 2 games used that third line very often against Colorado's top line, and it worked very well. But in Colorado, the Avs are going to be able to move that first line away from Nashville's big checking line. So it's going to be incumbent upon the Preds' first line, Ryan Johansson, Forsberg, Arvidsson. They're going to have to play better than they did in that first game. And also, I'm sure Colorado will try to get their top line against Nashville's fourth line, so the Mike Fisher line has to play strongly as well.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Austin Watson keeps playing the way he is, it doesn't matter where this series is played. How about the week that young man's had?
It's been a great season. Austin Watson, who was at one time a second-round pick and, you know, for a while kind of got lost in the minors a little bit and looked like, you know, maybe he's never going to be the guy the Predators had hoped. This year, 14 goals. He's already stepped it up here in the playoffs with a goal in each of those first 2 games. He's still playing that great defense. He blocks shots. He kills penalties. Really kind of a guy you need in the playoffs.
Great stuff, Johnny G. Hang tight. More with him in just a moment.
But first, Game 3 between the Penguins and Flyers. Patrick Hornquist to Sidney Crosby, who finishes with the wraparound for his 4th goal of the series, and that got things started for Pittsburgh. They win 4-1, now lead the series 2-1.
How about Barry Trotz and the Capitals trying to bounce back at home in Game 2 against the Blue Jackets? Third period, TJ Oshie on the power play ties it up at 4, but in overtime, Matt Calvert wins it for Columbus, which now has a 2-0 series lead. We bring John Glennon back in here. The top teams in the East, the Lightning, Bruins, and Penguins especially, have all looked really good so far in the playoffs. So how do you handicap the East?
Some very talented teams. Of course, the one team that you didn't mention, my boyhood team, the Washington Capitals, is the one favorite that's struggled. I think Pittsburgh was very hot down the stretch, and that we're continuing to see them be very explosive. Boston, I thought, would have more difficulty against Toronto, which is a very good team too, but Boston, I thought, has looked tremendous. And Tampa Bay, just keeps rolling along as well.
And out west, the Jets have looked tough, and so have the Golden Knights and Sharks, who all have 2-0 series leads in their series at the moment. Who do you see as the Predators' biggest obstacle in the West?
I think they could get challenged by either of two teams, really. I think Winnipeg, who it seems they are likely to face in the next round, is a very big, physical, and fast team. We've seen the games with Winnipeg this year have been really, really good hockey. So I think that's a big challenge. But I also think Vegas would provide a big challenge as well.
Author John Glennon. The book is 100 Things Predators Fans Should Know and Do Before They Die. It's out in November. Keep your eyes peeled.